Gwen Stefani shutting down rumors she and Blake Shelton are getting divorced.
I was like, what? That's crazy.
For years, Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani were seen as one of the most unexpected and beloved couples in entertainment. Their relationship seemed almost impossible at first. He was a country music superstar known for his Oklahoma roots, humor, and emotional songs, while she was a global pop-rock icon whose career had already made her a household name. Yet somehow, their very different worlds came together, and millions of fans watched as their friendship slowly turned into love. That is why the latest chapter of their story has been so emotional for fans. After everything they had built together, rumors surrounding their relationship have left people wondering whether the couple that once appeared stronger than ever could actually be facing a painful separation. But to understand why this story has affected so many people, it is important to go back to the beginning of Blake Shelton's journey through love, heartbreak, loss, and ultimately, his relationship with Gwen Stefani. Long before Gwen entered his life, Blake had already experienced the difficult side of marriage. In 2003, he married Kynette Jern, his longtime partner from the early years of his career. Their relationship represented a time before Shelton had reached the level of fame he would eventually achieve. But after several years together, their marriage came to an end in 2006. Shelton eventually found love again with Miranda Lambert. The two first met in 2005 while working together around a CMT event, and their musical chemistry quickly became something more personal. Their connection grew over the following years, and in 2010, Shelton proposed. 1 year later, the couple married in Texas. For a while, Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert appeared to be the perfect country music couple. They shared the same musical world, understood the pressures of fame, and seemed to have built a life around their love for country music. But behind the public image, life was not always easy. In 2012, Blake experienced one of the deepest losses of his life when his father, Dick Shelton, passed away. That loss reopened painful memories from Shelton's youth, especially the death of his older brother Richie in a car accident when Blake was just 14. The tragedy became part of Blake and Miranda's creative journey. Lambert later recorded Over You, a deeply emotional song inspired by the loss of Blake's brother. The song connected with audiences because it transformed personal grief into something listeners could understand and feel. But even music could not prevent the problems developing inside their marriage. In July 2015, Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert announced that they were divorcing. Their marriage had come to an end, and once again Shelton found himself dealing with heartbreak under the intense attention of the public. At the time, few people could have imagined that the end of that relationship would eventually lead Shelton toward one of the most important chapters of his life. That same year, Blake was working on The Voice, where he shared the coaching panel with Gwen Stefani. Gwen was also dealing with the aftermath of a divorce, and the two reportedly found comfort in each other's understanding. They knew what it felt like to have their private lives exposed to millions of people. They understood disappointment, loneliness, and the strange experience of trying to rebuild a life while the entire world was watching. What began as friendship gradually became something deeper. Shelton later spoke about how important Gwen had become to him during a difficult period in his life. Their relationship seemed to give both of them a fresh start. Soon, their connection began appearing in their music. The two worked together on Go Ahead and Break My Heart, a duet that reflected the uncertainty and vulnerability of a new relationship. The song became an early musical symbol of their romance, showing fans that something real was developing between them. Their relationship continued to grow, and they collaborated on more music. In 2017, they recorded You Make It Feel Like Christmas. Then, in 2020, they released two of their most successful collaborations, Nobody But You and Happy Anywhere. For fans, these songs were more than simple duets. They seemed to represent a couple who had found happiness after experiencing some of the hardest moments of their lives. Shelton himself appeared to feel the same way. He had already been through marriage, divorce, grief, and disappointment. But his relationship with Gwen seemed to change his perspective on love. Then came the moment that turned their relationship into something permanent. In October 2020, after years together, Blake Shelton proposed to Gwen Stefani. The proposal was deeply personal and took place at Shelton's Oklahoma property, surrounded by people close to them. The following year, in July 2021, Blake and Gwen were married in an intimate ceremony at the chapel on Shelton's property. For many fans, the wedding felt like the happy ending to a story that had started with heartbreak. But the marriage also created a new family. Gwen had 3 sons, and Shelton became their stepfather. He spoke warmly about the role and the relationship he developed with the boys. For a man who had experienced so much loss throughout his life, becoming part of a family like this appeared to give him another reason to appreciate the quieter side of life. For years, Blake and Gwen seemed to have found a balance between their careers and their personal lives. But celebrity relationships have never been simple. Their fame meant that even the smallest detail could become a headline. A missing appearance, an unusual photo, a song lyric, or a decision not to attend an event could suddenly become the center of online speculation. That is where the latest controversy began. According to the story surrounding their relationship, fans became especially concerned after an awards event where Gwen appeared without Blake. Instead of focusing only on her performance and fashion, many people immediately began asking the same question. Where was Blake? The absence quickly became a topic of conversation. Fans who had grown accustomed to seeing the pair together wondered whether something had changed behind the scenes. Rumors began circulating about disagreements and possible tension. Some speculation suggested that plans surrounding the event had changed, while other theories attempted to connect Gwen's performance to problems in her relationship. One particularly dramatic part of the story involved a song described as "No Apology Required." The performance reportedly contained themes of betrayal, distance, and standing alone. For fans already worried about Blake and Gwen, it was almost impossible not to search for hidden meaning. Was the song simply an artistic performance? Or was it really connected to what was happening inside their relationship? That question became the center of the speculation. But there is an important difference between what people believe and what has actually been confirmed. Celebrity relationships often become the subject of theories because fans naturally try to interpret everything they see. A song can be about many things. A celebrity can attend an event alone for countless reasons. And silence does not automatically mean a marriage is ending. Still, the rumors continued to grow. As discussions spread across social media, fans began watching Blake's behavior just as closely. Some interpreted his quietness as a sign that he was hurting. Others believed he was simply trying to stay away from the attention. The more silent he became, the more people wanted answers. That is one of the hardest realities of being a celebrity. Sometimes saying nothing creates even more speculation than making a statement. For Blake Shelton, this was especially complicated because his career has always been closely connected to his personal emotions. His music has often allowed him to express feelings that are difficult to explain in ordinary conversation. Heartbreak, love, loss, loneliness, and hope have all appeared throughout his career. So when his personal life becomes the subject of public discussion, fans naturally look toward his music for clues. But Blake has also learned that not every private struggle needs to become public. That may be why he has appeared to step back from the noise. The pressure of fame can be exhausting even under normal circumstances. Add relationship rumors, professional expectations, public appearances, and constant social media commentary, and the emotional weight can become enormous. And Blake has already experienced what happens when a relationship ends while millions of people are watching. His divorce from Miranda Lambert was extremely public. He knows how quickly private pain can become entertainment for strangers. That history may explain why rumors about another possible breakup feel so emotional to longtime fans. Many people believed Gwen was different. She had entered his life during one of his darkest periods and helped him find happiness again. Together, they appeared to have built something that was not simply based on fame. Their relationship represented a second chance. A chance to love again after heartbreak. A chance to build a family after loss. And a chance to find happiness in a completely unexpected person. That is why the possibility of trouble between them feels so painful to fans. Still, the story does not necessarily end with heartbreak. Blake Shelton has survived difficult chapters before. He lost his brother at a young age. He lost his father. He experienced the end of 2 marriages. He faced professional pressure and personal disappointment while remaining in the public eye. And every time life knocked him down, he eventually found a way forward. Perhaps that is the most important part of his story. Whether the current rumors turn out to be temporary speculation or something more serious, Blake has already shown that he knows how to rebuild. He has always had music. He has always had his family. And he has millions of listeners who have connected with his songs because they understand the emotions behind them. For fans, the hope is simple: whatever Blake and Gwen are going through, they hope both of them find peace. Their relationship has already given audiences years of memorable music, unexpected moments, and a love story that nobody saw coming. And if there is one thing Blake Shelton's life has taught his fans, it is that difficult chapters do not necessarily define the entire story. Sometimes heartbreak becomes a song. Sometimes loss becomes strength. Sometimes the person you meet after your darkest moment becomes the reason you believe in love again. And sometimes, when the world thinks it knows the ending, life still has another chapter waiting. For now, fans are left watching and wondering what comes next for Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani. Until either of them chooses to speak openly about their relationship, much of the conversation will remain speculation. But one thing is certain: Blake Shelton's journey has never been a simple one. From early love and painful divorce to devastating family loss, from his relationship with Miranda Lambert to the unexpected romance with Gwen Stefani, his life has been filled with emotional highs and lows. And perhaps that is exactly why his music continues to connect with so many people. Because behind the country superstar, the television personality, and the familiar smile is a man who has experienced the same complicated emotions that his listeners experience: love, loss, hope, heartbreak, and the possibility of beginning again. Whatever happens next, Blake Shelton has already proven that he can turn difficult moments into something meaningful. And if history is any indication, the next chapter of his life may eventually become another story told through music.